We are out in Prescott, Arizona at the Alto Pit OHV area, getting ready to test a very unique machine that we brought to you before at the Electrify Expo. This is the Mini RCR three-wheeler. It's totally electric. We're here with John Roberts, who owns the company, also owns Sandcraft.
Yeah, so basically this is our Mini RCR three-wheeler e-bike. It will be classified as a Class 2 e-bike. And basically about 4 or 5 years ago, I was looking to get into a Honda 70 or 90 and fix it up. And I was looking for old frames, and everybody wanted $1,500, $2,000 for an old frame. Then you'd spend $3 to $5,000 fixing it up, and they were really hard to find. So I'm like, man, we need to figure out a better way for, you know, someone like me who, when I was a kid, I rode three-wheelers, and you know, I want to bring it back, the nostalgic feel. And I'm like, we got to figure out a way to make one for the masses. So that's when I worked with an attorney and got approved through the CPSC to be classified as a Class 2 e-bike. And I currently hold 2 patents on this bike, and I'm the only one who can legally manufacture a three-wheeler in the United States.
You know, you were into the 70s and 90s. This is actually a little taller machine than that. It looks a little more comfortable for adult size riders.
Absolutely. So on the 70s and 90s size for a grown adult, you're a little bit scrunched up. They're super cool, but I wanted to build a little bit bigger size. This is around a 110, and it's comfortable for any male or female, you know, 300-pound plus. So I mean, it can fit any size person on it comfortably, and you can ride for several hours and not feel like your knees are all jammed up. So. Yeah,
speaking of hours, what are we talking about range wise?
Yeah, so range wise, this has a minimum of 4 hours. I mean, if you're fully pinned, it'll last 4 hours. If you ride it not fully pinned, you can get up to 6-7 hours on it. So
which is great for a day of trail riding like what we're doing today. We're out here, there's some, you know, technical 2-track type stuff. You get a full day's ride out of this.
Oh yeah, we were just out in UTV Takeover out in Coos Bay. I mean, it lasted us all day long. So these things have a very long life.
Now you brought up, it's really about a 110 size, and we're comparing it actually earlier to some of the images of the old 110s. Even the rake looks about the same. You put a lot of study and everything into the design of this machine to kind of match those old school trikes.
Absolutely, we did. We even had a lot of old school riders come and test this out that had a lot of disbelief, and once they rode it, they're like, man, you guys nailed it straight up. So pretty excited about that.
Tell us about the new facility and your plans moving forward as you begin to produce production units.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. We have a brand new facility that we are building out. We are going to manufacture these in-house in Phoenix, Arizona, up in North Valley, up in Deer Valley Road. And we have all the equipment to manufacture, and most of this bike is all billet aluminum, and we will be machining this all in-house. We've been building it out for the past 3 months, our shop, and we're ready to go, and we'll be machining and building these in-house. So.
And this is basically a prototype that we're riding today. Tell us about some of the parts we will be seeing on those production units and some of the upgrades you might even have coming.
Yeah, I'm really excited about some of the new features we have. So we have our 2 rear fenders that will be carbon fiber, black carbon fiber, and then our front fender will be black carbon fiber as well. And then we do have these 2 air scoops on each side, and these will also be black carbon fiber on our production models. So I'm very excited about that. We will also have our own branded Mini RCR tires, and we'll be running a 23-inch front tire and 22-inch rear tires with the knobbies on them. We're also going to be making paddle tires as well. So for full ATVs or three-wheelers, we'll have all sizes for every horsepower range.
And I should say that you already kind of dominate the paddle tire deal on the UTV side. These are a very lightweight buffed tire with a vulcanized paddle. Go in a little more detail on that as far as how you apply the paddles to the tire.
Yeah, so we have that. Also, our front Mohawk is our new patent design. It's a diamond tread, and it's great for steering. and our tires are fully buffed. We actually have our own proprietary vulcanizing system that we figured out a way to chemically bond rubber and made it as one. And what we'll be doing is having different paddles counts to your horsepower of your ATV or ATC that will match the performance of the bike. So I'm very excited about that.
You're taking pre-orders right now, and so tell us a little bit about the numbers you intend to produce, you know, over the next couple of years.
Absolutely, yeah. We started taking pre-orders about a month ago. We are almost sold out for this year's production, which will be about 150 through the end of the year. Next year, we plan on producing approximately 500. Next year, 1,000, and the following 3,000. So we're already working on next year's pre-orders. So
sounds good. And let's go over what's the price.
Yeah, so these will retail for $6,000.
And we are out here to ride, so let's get busy.
Let's get going.
Brought a special guest out today. This is Dave Wiley, Dirt Wheels contributor, but also the owner of ATC Addiction.
Yeah, honestly, I've never been a big fan of electric vehicles, cars, bikes, anything, and honestly don't have much experience, haven't ridden any, and I was kind of skeptical. You know, I've seen pictures of them, I hadn't seen one in person, and you know, I was actually really impressed. The sizing was good. I mean, I'm 6'2", and I was comfortable on it. You know, instant throttle response, very, very fun to ride. I was actually honestly surprised.
Was it tough getting used to the quiet operation of it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, it's weird not having the sound of the motor, you know, but you're not shifting gears. And, you know, usually when that's how I shift gears, is by the motor sound. And so you don't have to shift, so that wasn't really a problem. Kind of peaceful going through the woods and being able to hear the, you know, sights and sounds. And we got, you know, these firefighters around sawing down trees and could actually hear them.
Now, you've been on just about every three-wheeler there is. Actually, I'm sure every three-wheeler there is and most every ATV. How does this compare to, say, an ATC 110?
Honestly, an ATC 110 was my first bike ever, and I have a big love for the 110, and they're a great bike, but, you know, this is a lot of fun. I wouldn't have been happy on my 110 on some of the trails we went on today, and I was perfectly happy on this. You know, the suspension being part of it, and you know, just I'm still really cramped on a 110, and I didn't feel cramped at all on this. Yeah, I would actually have to say I would take this.
Now, this has the Class 2 e-bike certification. You can basically go anywhere that an e-bike can go, you know, minus single track trails, but it opens up a whole lot of opportunity to ride these, you know, even right at your house and stuff legally. Nobody can complain. How do you feel about that? What do you think?
Well, that's the thing I learned about it. I mean, I think that's really cool that I can ride this around my neighborhood. You know, I can ride it in a lot more places than I would have thought. And, you know, part of my skepticism was I didn't know that this bike was equipped to come out here where we used to race ATVs and do the same loop and do just fine.
Yeah, a lot of guys think that maybe they're good for a couple of laps on a motocross track, but we're out here riding a couple of hours of pretty tight, twisty trails, and even some tough rock sections.
Yeah, we hit everything. We hit rocks and twists, turns, uphills, downhills, a little bit of everything, and it did great. I want to ride it on the track. I want to ride it in the sand. I mean, I want to see what it can do.
So you're saying you want one?
I do. All right, Jeff, so I know you're not a big three-wheeler guy, and it's been probably 30 years plus since you've really ridden one much, but we just went on a pretty good ride. We did a good little loop. What do you think?
It was fun, and honestly, it's been about 40 years. Back when the 80s, I got a lot of time back then on a 185S, and it's kind of funny, this machine took me back to that. You know, it's got great suspension, but then you also got the balloon tires. It brings back a lot of that old school feel about the old ATCs, especially the 110. But it has, you know, really cool new technology. And for a guy like me who's not real big on three wheels, it's amazingly stable. And the throttle control and the brake control, I mean, you know, coming into corners and stuff, you can make really precise turns. It's great on the bumps. Acceleration is amazing. You don't even though it's governed to 20 miles an hour, you know, to meet that e-bike certification, so you can take it wherever you want to. I would never feel myself lacking for power. Even on the uphills, it just goes. One thing I really love about it, and it does have the left-hand brake. This is for your rear brake. That brake, you got a disc brake back here, a caliper, and it's very, I don't want to say sensitive, it's very controllable. It's very strong braking power.
You feel tipsy at all?
No, I didn't feel tipsy. You know, you get into some rocks and stuff, and it's kind of weird with the three wheels, somebody not being used to a three-wheeler, but that's kind of besides the point. I actually am amazed at how stable it feels and how comfortable I was on it. I like it a lot. They did a great job building this thing, all billet aluminum, made in the USA, made right in my hometown of Phoenix, Arizona. Great machine, Mini RCR.